Alright everybody, welcome back to the second video in this series. Well, not welcome back, I guess welcome the first time to the second tutorial. Welcome back to this series. And this time we are going to create a tile with some cool walls and doors and windows and all that fun stuff. So, this should be pretty similar to what we were just looking at. We've got a base in here, except this time instead of circle we're going to click on dungeon tile. And every once in a while you might get a weird result like this, especially if you switch from one shape to another. Just go down and click change terrain and the code will fix that up. Every once in a while you just might get a weird result either while you're clicking change terrain or if you're switching between shapes. Should happen very rarely, but if it does, just click change terrain. That'll randomize it again and make things look good. So that's what we got now. I'm going to pick a more interesting base here, though. I guess I'll go with this, maybe. Let's see. Maybe I'll go with this. That looks pretty cool. I'll leave it as that. That looks pretty good. And again, on this one, you can change the height as well. I think that's fine for our purposes right now. For the dungeon tiles, you can change the sidings like we did before with the bases. And you can also add an open lock part. I'm not going to do that now because that we're going to cover in the next video. I know not everyone's really that interested in the open lock parts, but I left those in there, and I will include a video on those as well. But for right now, we're just going to make a nice plain base with some windows and walls and stuff. So once you've done that, once you've got a base you like, go to the dungeon tile tab. And here's pretty much how this one works. There's a drop down with wall numbers and base, and that's how you select where things get placed. If you click wall 1, things will get placed on this wall at the top. Wall 2 will be on the side there. Wall 3 it'll be here. Wall 4 will be there. And then if you click on base, you can place right now just columns. Eventually I might expand that to other interesting things, but for right now it's just columns that get placed on the base. But we will start with a wall. And it's important to remember, you place a wall before you place any windows and doors or anything like that. So make sure you do that first, so it won't place, just a random window floating in space. You have to place a wall first. So we'll leave it at that. This wall direction will let you decide how the wall gets placed. So if you leave it at internal, that'll just be a normal wall facing inwards. External will place a wall that's facing outwards if you want to do that. Mirrored will be a combination of the two. Where there'll be a wall facing inwards and outwards. Basically, there'll be a wall on both sides of, the wall. And then there's open lock, which again we'll cover in the next video. Right now, we're just gonna leave it at internal. And in asset type, this is where you decide what gets placed. So let's leave that as wall. And these first ones should all be the sort of test assets I included in the sort of the base program, and the rest will be the fun, interesting assets add-ons you import. So let's see. I'll just click one of these sci-fi walls right now. So yeah, it'll place a wall. And once you've done that, there's this drop-down where you can select which specific asset you want to edit. It'll sort of be based on this wall. So if you choose wall 2, it'll let you edit the things on there. That's what it'll be in the drop-down. But since we've got in wall 1, it'll be everything that's related to wall 1. And right now that's just wall 1. So that's what we've got selected. And in these sliders, you can change the thickness of the wall, and change the height, and change the width if you want to. There might be times where that's useful if you have two walls and they're overlapping a little bit and you want to kind of move one out a little bit so it looks a little bit nicer. You might want to use that. And you can also slide the location there if you've adjusted the width. Otherwise, it just stays in the middle. If you've adjusted the width and then moved it and then adjusted the width again, and it's off to the side, just move the X slider again. It'll snap back to the middle. So that's pretty much it. The walls. And then if we add a door, now there are a couple of different types of doors. If it says open at the end, or open in the name, it'll actually cut out part of the wall and be, an open door. And with these, you can also, change the height and the width and move them around a little bit. Same thing with the windows. So let's see, I'll do a nice, what's this? Let's try this guy. It doesn't really look like anything. Oh, I forgot to added, I think. There we go. And so this one's kind of blocked by the door. So keep in mind, you might not see something right away if you have something else placed there. So sometimes you might need to move them over a little bit to actually see the asset. But yeah, after that, you can adjust everything just like with the walls and the doors. And yeah, these ones you can move up and down as well. Oops. Yeah, pretty straightforward. And I'll add one more door. There are a few fun like test things I included as well. Things we mentioned, I think in a few of the Kickstarter updates. A few people had an idea, liked the idea of, oh shoot, I added it on the wrong wall, so that got rid of everything else we did. Oh well, I was gonna add it on the side, but I think this will be fine. We'll just go back and add things later. I did add the functionality to add, I have it called weathering here in this asset type, and it's basically the option to add sort of ruins on top. And this is very much sort of a test feature. It was something I sort of played around with, and it looks okay, but it could always be better. You can adjust the height of that specific, of that weathering. You can change the location a little bit. Yeah, like I said, it's still in test sort of, and it doesn't work perfectly on all of the walls, just because of some of the ways that Blender calculates things. Blender sometimes has trouble with certain things, but it does work, and it looks kind of cool. And you can go in and edit some of the walls. Every once in a while, didn't look like it happened on this one, but every once in a while, if you're moving something, let's see if it happens here. You might get some weird results, and like the geometry might cut out or a face might disappear. That's just Blender having issues with something. If you see something like that, 99% of the time you can just move it a little bit more, and Blender will figure things out. But just keep that in mind. Looks like we're not having any issues with this one, but like I said, some walls that feature might have a little difficulty with. So yeah, I'll keep testing that and play around with it. Let me know how it works. And if you guys like it, I'll develop that further and make sure it works perfectly. Maybe I won't leave that there. Well, yeah, I'll leave that in there for now while I build the second wall. Let's just place one more wall real fast. I'll just give a quick brief demo of what the external walls look like. Oh, well, this is a bad example. That one is a double-sided wall anyway. But I'll pick a wall that it's flat on one side. So yeah, if you click external on this one, you'll see the flat side of the wall is facing inwards, and it's set back a little bit, so there's a little bit of space on the outside, so you can, for example, place a door and have it look give it a little space, give a little space for the door to get placed. So we could do something like this, and I guess you could make it really high if you want, depending on your needs. Yeah, pretty straightforward. And then these buttons at the bottom, you can either delete an individual item, or you can clear that whole wall. Or if you click remove all, that'll get rid of everything in the scene. And then I'll quickly show a mirrored wall here. Let's go with this guy, I guess. That's pretty thick. We probably don't need that, but as you can see, that'll show a wall on both sides. And again, some of these will work better on certain walls than others. Some walls might look better one way than others, but you'll just have to play around and see what you like. I mostly like the internal walls because that fits more with the kind of stuff I like to do, like diorama building and stuff like that. So that's probably what I'll be using this for, but I'll be going over the man, where's my head today? I'll be going over the open lock parts in the next video, so we can talk about that as well. For right now, I'm just going to set up a couple of things here. I'll just put a little scene together so we can see it when we export it. I'll add a window too. And that over. Every once in a while, the wall will be thicker than the window that was created, because some of these just have different sizes when I made them. You'll just need to resize the thickness so that the window sticks out a little bit more. And that's pretty much it. Pretty straightforward. And then I'll also add a column too. So let's see, I'll go to base up here. If you click internal, external, or mirrored, doesn't matter. It'll place a column on the base somewhere. You can also click open lock. and it'll place a column off to the side. But again, we will cover those in the next video. So here, same kind of deal. It'll place a column, and you can adjust the thickness, the height, the width. If you click this uniform width thickness checkbox, the width and thickness will stay the same when you resize it. If you don't do that, you can do weird things like adjust them one at a time, or adjust the width without adjusting the height. If you do that and you don't want it to look like that and you want it to be symmetrical again, just take a look at what the other value was. So in this case, I had the width at 8.6, and just go in and type that back in here as well, so it's the same or similar. And then, you know, move those around, something like that. With the columns, you can also rotate them with this slider here, and that's pretty much it for the walls, windows, and doors. So let's go ahead and do the same thing and export that. And everything goes back to the way it was before. And we will be able to take a look in Cura. So I will pop into Cura now and take a look at that. All right, we are back in Cura now. And I will open up the tile we just created. So that is pretty much what we just did. So congratulations, you've now built a base as well as a cool tile with some walls and windows and stuff like that. Next up, I'll do a really brief video on the open lock parts before we jump into the second script, which should also be a pretty quick tutorial. I'll try and make these fast, but make sure I cover everything that needs to get covered. So I will see you guys in the next video.